What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're in the shop and we're gonna be doing some experiments on the go-kart. So I have been making a ton of videos for this little TJ go-kart thing that I built a few months ago, mainly because this thing is like stupid fun to work on. It is just so different, it's so odd. This is probably one of my favorite builds of all time. And all it is just a little stripped down TJ. But I love this thing.
I have to tell you about the future!
So I absolutely love the color scheme that I've got going on. I really dig the Seymour Paint's Alpine Green. And this is just like a primered color roll-on paint right here that I used. And I really dig this whole color scheme, especially with like the decals and stuff like that. Like the whole build just really pops to me and I really like it. I really dig how the Moto built fuel cell mounts turned out after I painted them green. I really love that green on aluminum color. If you're new to the channel, I literally built this entire thing on YouTube. So if you want to see how I drove a running TJ into my shop and then backed this out, definitely go back to my page and check it out because it's interesting for sure. So the tires and wheels that I'm running on this thing, these are a 35 by 10 for a 17, and they are on a 17 by 9 RockTrix beadlock wheel. These are real beadlocks, and these are awesome. I absolutely love these RockTrix beadlocks. And I really love the pizza cutters on here too, because it kind of gives it the go-kart vibe. I love the look of the beadlocks on here. I love that gunmetal gray with the black ring, but I feel like the wheels just get lost in the whole build. It's like all the bright colors are up here, then down here is just dark and gloomy. And I think I want to change that. So you can see right here, like all the color is in this area, and then right here, you can see like that beadlock ring just, I don't know, I feel like it just gets lost with the black tire. Like, I don't like black wheels on things just because I feel like it just absorbs the wheel and you don't get to see it anymore and you don't appreciate it. So I think we're gonna try to spice up these beadlocks with a little paint. There's so much color like right here, and then it just drops off and everything's black and dark. So I don't know, I got it in my head that this is a good idea and I'm just gonna go with it. So I've always really been a fan of polished wheels. I really love the look of aluminum wheels. Like on Beef Cheeks right here, I've got the H2 Hummer wheels on here and I absolutely love them. Yeah, this would look cool with some like, you know, shiny beadlocks or something like that, but I don't know, those just look so good to me. I've always loved these H2 Hummer wheels, and I feel like it just fits this build so well. But to be honest with you, this is the color that I'm going for. That is by far my favorite wheel color. You can see the character of the wheel right here, whereas this one, it just kind of, you got to kind of focus in on it a little bit more, whereas these wheels kind of stand out. Maybe y'all don't see it, or maybe I've just been hitting the brake cleaner a little too hard tonight, but I definitely see it. So you got these and then these. Let's see if we can change that up. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is take off the center cap there because I want to keep running those because I feel like those look really good. But now I'm gonna go ahead and take out the air because I'm going to be taking off this beadlock ring. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking off these beadlock bolts. Sweet. So it's up here. So now I'm going to take off these beadlock spacers because I don't want those getting messed up. So before I start sanding or anything, I'm going to go ahead and put some frog tape on what I don't want painted, which is the valve stem and the tire. So Yes, I'm gonna be lazy and not remove the tire from the wheel. I've just seen so many people do it and have success without taking the tire off, and I want that success for myself. I've got the valve stem taped off, and now I'm just gonna go like right here because I don't want to paint this. I want this to be a clean surface, so when I put the beadlock spacers on here, it's just the aluminum and it's not like paint or anything. So I'm just gonna roughly put some tape all the way around, and then we'll get something on the tire to keep from painting the tire. I have everything taped off and it looks pretty good. So now, probably should have actually washed these wheels before I started all this. Yeah, let me wipe these down. I told you I'm not a professional painter, but I'm just taking some acetone and just going along, and that's gonna get any contaminants, dirt, grime, brake dust, you know, look at all that. Like, I know I still got the sand, but still, you want all that stuff off before you start sanding. Look at that. So I have all this wiped down, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some 220 sandpaper and just start scuffing everything up. So I'm not going super deep. I'm not going all the way down to the bare aluminum. I'm just roughing this up so that the paint actually adheres to it. Just so you know, I'm not planning on using any primer. So if that deters you away from finishing the rest of this video, I understand. But I really think this is gonna turn out pretty cool, so stick around. Got everything sanded, and I did use the air compressor to kind of blow off the excess dust, and that kind of just revealed, you know, places where I had missed sanding, which was a lot. But now I'm just going back over this with some acetone just to get all of the contaminants, the grease, dust and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do this a couple of times just because I've got to get all these little crevices. And I did not realize how aggravating it would be to paint all these little D windows all the way around. They look cool, but they're just kind of aggravating to sand. All right, so I have the wheel clean. I think we're ready for some paint. Now, like I said before, I'm not using any primer. I'm just gonna be using this Seymour's Extreme FX Chrome. And you might be saying, have you lost your mind? Yeah, kind of. So this says that it's chrome, but in real life, this is probably going to give more of a polished aluminum look than it does chrome. But we're going to try it out. I've already shook this up. It says I need to do steady, even strokes at the distance of 8 to 10 inches. Several light coats give the better finish than one heavy coat. Dries to touch in 10 minutes. So we're gonna give this a go. Great for rims and bumpers. Might paint my bumper chrome. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit this lightly and see what we got. I'm kind of nervous. Here we go. Just going very light, very, very light. So right now I'm trying to get this section right here. I'm just trying to get all of that. Oh, this is kind of sick. I dig it. All right, so it is the next night, and check it out. Got the wheel. I've got about 4 coats of that chrome paint on here. I did go over everything, what I painted last night, with some 600 sandpaper, just to get some of those sanding lines out. And that worked really good. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and start sanding down this beadlock ring. And I'm going to start off with some 220 sandpaper and then some 600 grit sandpaper and hit it with that green. And I think it's gonna look awesome. I went ahead and wiped it down with the acetone, and now I am pretty much ready to start sanding. As you can see, I've got my clean work environment right here, and now I can start sanding everything. And I'm just gonna go around and just kind of rough all of this up and then come back with the 600 and just smooth it all down. So the paint that I'm using is also from Seymour, and this stuff is awesome. I painted my entire little go-kart with this stuff right here, but it is the Seymour Paints. It's the Big Rig Detroit Diesel Alpine Green. This stuff is awesome. So I'm gonna let this hang out here, and hopefully I'm not getting a lot of overspray on my dirt bike. All right, it is 24 hours later, and I would say that looks pretty daggone good. I think we're ready to put this on the wheel and see what it looks like. I'm just gonna throw this on there. Oh man, ha, that is awesome. I wanna show you something. So last night, while I was charging my camera battery, I went ahead and did this one. And this one, I did not use anything but the 600 grit, and you can still see some fine sanding marks. I don't really care about the texture. I just wanted the wheels to be a different color, and I think I succeeded with that. Let's go ahead and get this beadlock back together. So the first thing is I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on. I did wipe these down just to make sure there's no grit or grime or anything. I want this to be a clean mating surface when all this goes back together. If you get a couple of grains of sand in some of this stuff, it'll leak and it'll just be a huge pain in the butt, and I don't want that. So I'm just gonna pop these on all the way around. And I really like these beadlock ring spacers is because it keeps the beadlock ring from coning in. I don't like to see the beadlock rings coning in, and what I mean by that is that there's such a drastic distance right here that when you tighten them down, it just like cones in. It's just concaved on the inside, and I don't really care for that, but I do have some anti-seize on these bolts, and so I'm just gonna line everything back up. So now that I have all of these inserted, I'm just gonna slowly start tightening them down. And I'm just gonna go in like a star pattern. All right, so I have all of these snugged down. I like to go around, I just like to go ahead and initially set them with the impact gun and then I like to go back and tighten them down. I like to do 10 pounds all the way around, and then I like to come back and typically with beadlocks, I think with the RockTrix it calls for like 24 foot-pounds, so that's what we're going with. And so now I'm just gonna go all the way around and just tighten all of these down equally. So I have all of these down to 24 foot-pounds, and now we're ready for some air. Then they will be ready to go on the go-kart. I'm so excited about this. Yeah, so much better. This aired up to 10 PSI, and it has stayed at 10 PSI for about 20 minutes. I didn't really want to spray a bunch of soapy bubbles on this, so I just kind of just let it sit for 20 minutes and it's held at 10 PSI. So I'm gonna say we're good. Now I just have to do this, well, two and a half more times, because I've already got that one painted and everything. So now I just got to basically do the front two just like this. But before we do that, I'm gonna slide this one over to the front. That way y'all can kind of see a comparison. I love it already. Oh man, that looks so good to me. Doesn't that look so much better? Like this would look good on like an all silver vehicle or something like that, where, you know, that wouldn't look good on a silver vehicle. But man, I truly believe that this was the right move. But anyway, I'm going to get to work. I'm going to take those off and start sanding those. And then with the power of YouTube, everything will be done. Voila. All right, what do y'all think? Y'all think it looks better? I think it looks fantastic. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll get it out in front of the shop where it's kind of, you can step back and really appreciate it. But even inside of the shop, this just looks 1,000 times better to me. And the wheels and tires complement the entire build. I cannot wait to show y'all what this looks like in the daylight outside of the shop. Well, it's a couple of days later, and apparently I'm putting on an alternator in this video because this thing is dead as a doornail. I went to back it out, charge the battery, everything like that, and my voltage was like at 8 after letting this thing run. So, and I think 8 was the lowest that it went down. So, yeah, the alternator is bad. I guess I'm gonna change the name of this video to how to paint your wheels and put an alternator on them. But I'm gonna get my tripod and we are going to throw an alternator on this, and we're gonna try to get this thing to back out of the shop. So I went down the rabbit hole of what alternator to run, and everybody online said that the AC Delco alternator is really good for these. So that's what I went with. And the only one I could find was at Rock Auto, so I had to wait a couple of days to get it. But what's cool about Rock Auto is they always send these really sick magnets. Like that's really cool. Little VW build. So interesting fact, I don't even have to pop my hood to take off my alternator. That's convenient.
Well, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna loosen up this belt and try to get that off. The first thing you do before you do anything with an alternator is disconnect the battery. And I probably need to go ahead and disconnect the wires on the back of it before I take off those. That's just good practice, I guess. You've got two separate wires that come. You've got your ground, and then you have your positive, and I think they're both 10 millimeter. So, just gonna pop this one off. Make sure you don't mix those up. Make sure you don't mix up those wires, because that would be bad. All right, so there is the bad alternator, and it does not sound very good. But it looks very similar to the new one I got, so that's a good sign. Y'all hear that? Not good. So here is the new one. There is the part number right there. And hopefully it's just gonna bolt right in and this thing's magically gonna crank up, and then we can finish this video. So I'm just gonna feed this in. Let me go ahead and throw the belt on while I'm at it. I've already got the belt on. Now I just need to hook up my ground and all my wires, and then we will be ready to go. The alternators are pretty easy, and it's really easy because I don't have any inner fender wheels. If I had inner fender wheels, it'd probably be a lot harder to get to, but this ain't bad at all. Now all I have to do is tighten the belt back up and charge the battery a little bit more, and we'll be ready to go. All right, so I have the belt all tightened up, and now we're gonna see, and I've had it on the battery charger for like an hour, so let's see if it starts up. Oh yeah, that's way better. Last time it was on 8. So here it is out in the wild. Man, I feel like that looks so much better. It like having a polished look, and then that green down here. Because if you think about it, before there was no color from like here down, and now it has color, it has life. So I'm curious to know what y'all think. Drop in the comments if you think I made a huge mistake by painting these a polished aluminum look. Well, I was planning on doing my outro to the video out there in the woods on my little rock pile, but it got really windy and the audio was probably terrible. So I'm gonna do my outro right here. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching me paint the wheels and put an alternator on. Here shortly, we're gonna be taking the go-kart on an adventure, and y'all definitely don't wanna miss that. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see y'all next time on 6 Feet Under Fab.